อย่างของโรงเรียนที่ประเทศอังกฤษนะคะได้ทำให้เราเห็นว่าโรงเรียนมีส่วนอย่างมากนะคะในการที่จะช่วยให้คุณพ่อคุณแม่นั้นได้เห็นลูกของเขามากกว่ามุมมองของที่บ้านนะคะซึ่งโรงเรียนที่ประเทศอังกฤษเนี่ยนะคะก็ได้นะคะใช้ผู้เชี่ยวชาญระดับมืออาชีพนะคะเข้ามาช่วยนำความคิดของคุณพ่อคุณแม่แล้วก็เปิดมุมมองของคุณพ่อคุณแม่2ก็คือโรงเรียนที่ประเทศอังกฤษนะคะใช้สื่อที่ทันสมัยนะคะก็คือการใช้กล้องเนี่ยนะคะเข้าไปในห้องเรียนเพื่อที่จะถ่ายออกมาให้คุณพ่อคุณแม่ซึ่งนั่งอยู่อีกห้องหนึ่งได้เห็นนะคะโรงเรียนที่ประเทศไทยก็ทำได้นะคะถ้าคุณอยากจะทำนะคะแล้วก็อันที่3ก็คือเทคนิคการสอนของคุณครูที่ประเทศอังกฤษนะคะจะทำให้เห็นว่าคุณครูนั้นใช้คำถามแบบปลายเปิดนะคะคือเปิดโอกาสให้เด็กๆนั้นแสดงความคิดเห็นเปิดโอกาสให้เด็กนั้นได้ตัดสินใจนะคะซึ่งก็เป็นตัวอย่างที่ดีที่ทำให้เราได้ศึกษาอีกเรื่องหนึ่งค่ะ
No, you mustn't tell the actual animal to the person. You must keep the animal name a secret. How many legs does
So remember, you've got to read the questions and write down
Mrs.
someone.
Scarlett, can we write how many legs does a spider have? Or can we write how many legs does it have?
Yes, how many legs does it have would allow somebody to work out what kind of animal it is, isn't it? If it's got 2, it might be a human being.
Seems to me that she was in an appropriate lesson which took her from a state of not being quite sure about something to being quite sure about it. I think that's nice. I mean, I think that must have been a satisfying lesson for her, I would have thought.
It's interesting to actually see Alice with her friends because she often comes home and tells us the story of what's happened at Playdom and how they've had races and what they've done, or that they've made something, and actually to be able to see them doing it has been really interesting.
Does she chat a lot about school when she gets home?
Yes.
So you get good feedback?
Yes. She's not worried at coming home to say that she did something and it didn't work today.
So
or
the
she spelled
confidence
something
issue, do you think from seeing that you feel?
I think there's been a great improvement over the last 12 months, and it's nice to see that that's coming along.
Yeah.
That's really good, and that'll be perhaps a good launch pad for the transfer to the Key Stage 2 work.
Absolutely.
I think the thing that I've found most interesting has been actually to see how an all-rounder is able to, somebody who's at a young age is able to show good social skills, good learning skills, good interpersonal skills across the age gap. I think it's been a pleasure to watch a well-delivered class and a well-run school and a happy child.
เป็นเวลาพักสำหรับเด็กๆแต่สำหรับผู้ปกครองเป็นเวลาสับเปลี่ยนพ่อแม่ของจอร์จมาพบอดัมในห้อง
Sit down, Jane.
Thank you.
Hi, good to see you. I think we're just about to start. This looks like the literacy lesson to me.
Now we're going to come down to here.
You ready to help me? Chloe, try
to
A for fine.
Does he bring reading books home?
Yes, he does, yeah.
And
yeah.
do you go through them with him?
Sometimes I do, yeah, or sometimes some of the other children do it with
Yeah.
him. No, he's quite interested in doing it at home. He's quite enthusiastic just at the moment. He goes through dips and lows, with it,
Does
or
he?
highs, yeah.
Does he read to you at all, Ian?
At times, not very often.
Not very often.
Probably does on the computer.
Oh, he often asks about things on the computer.
Yeah, but still reading, not necessarily his book.
But reading on his own now.
Chloe wanted some.
Was that so wanted? What's it ending?
It's interesting they still use their fingers.
Oh, yes.
I always thought, teachers were quite anti that.
Well, that was a stage, I think.
What, just
Was that from your childhood?
Right.
You
Yeah,
remember that?
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, there was a stage when they weren't allowed to write with their left hands
Right.
and so on.
Yes, we were hit by a ruler, I think, if we did.
Yeah.
Sound it out for me. It's the first sound, George.
The small group allows Caroline to give him plenty of one-to-one attention, which is a good thing.
Yes, no, she's very good actually how she does get round to giving them all a bit of one-to-one. I mean, I always know he brings home, his book that we write in to say what he's done if he's read with her.
Right.
And I always sign it if I've read with him, or if one of the other children read with him, they fill it in and sign it so that she knows too what's been done.
Yeah.
Chloe.
You read it up here, look. It's the same one.
Was
I don't get the impression this is his most favourite activity anyway.
He quite often, though, recently does want to do reading at home. He hasn't always been keen. Yeah, but you know, it goes in sort of sporadic form, and I suppose if he finds a book he's interested in, then he's quite keen to do it, whereas others he's had to sort of trawl through a bit, and I'm sure that's quite tedious.
And the fly landed
on Chloe's nose.
That's right.
Yeah. You see, it's quite interesting. Then the fly landed on Chloe's nose. On Chloe's nose was a guess. He saw the picture, he saw the no, he figured Chloe, and on Chloe's nose was obvious. That's typical of somebody not actually very comfortable with reading, who's actually using intelligence to guess. What's your initial feelings or reactions to seeing George in his reading class?
I'm not surprised. It's how he reacts at home when I do reading with him.
And how would you describe it?
He's not that comfortable with reading.
Yeah.
He's improved a lot, but it's not his most comfortable activity, really.
Right.
He gets by. But
Yeah, that's right. But intelligent people go on using that guesswork technique which little children use way into their 9s and 10s and 11s, when other children have learnt to move on from that to actually phonetic reading, which is much more effective, and it really hits them when they get to secondary school. But you're quite right. There's no reason to suppose that George won't take those steps for himself. It's just interesting to be able to see that actually in action in the classroom, because you've seen it at home a lot.
There's one more. That will be going up. We want to go down to this. 6. So it goes 7.
So see how George does in the maths now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Do you think he'll do better, or...?
I would have thought so. He's pretty good at number work.
Is he?
Does seem to enjoy it,
Okay.
especially if it involves money.
yes, money's very important. Money's very important.
Working it out. Right.
Right from the age of 2, I make them pay for their own sweets when we go in the shop, partly to build their confidence up and partly so they get used to what coins they're handling. And Caroline said when George first started, he was the only child in her group that knew the value of different coins.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there
which
you
is
are.
quite
you see.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's 10 more than 25? What do you think it is, George?
35.
Oh, wow. Well, I think you get a pat on the back for that one. Well done.
Very good idea, isn't it, what they're doing? It certainly gets them being versatile.
He certainly seems keen now, doesn't he?
Yes.
I think she's obviously seen George, so clearly
I think so.
she's just she knows George's got the answer, but she wants the other children
Yeah,
to...
of course.
I mean, it's suggesting that George is well ahead of the other children on this particular subject. He's the only one who's at this level. The others are mystified, even after she's given them 3 different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
And look, he's the only... So, what do you think of that? You know, does that surprise you or encourage you, or...?
Well, I think it's only fair the other children are given more time, because it's very disheartening to them, isn't it, if just one child answers all the questions. And if George was the other way round with it, I would be quite thinking, oh, you know, if it was another child just answering it, or that he didn't get a chance to work it out himself, so...
Okay, can I go in here? And sit down. Well done. Very calm and ready. So today we're going to start our country dancing. Does anybody know what country dancing is?
I think this is going to be one of the highlights, actually. We've got this country dancing lesson now, and I can't imagine the children don't enjoy that.
quite gangly legs, aren't they?
Yes.
Oh, how lovely.
The skipping technique is something which is. They seem to be making progress of some sort.
Yeah, every now and again it seems to get into a rhythm. But I wouldn't want to put them in a three-legged race.
That's better.
But yeah, definitely a bit more in time. He's checking, is everyone else enjoying it as much as I am?
Am I allowed to be like that?
Yeah.
I think in this lesson, George might progress faster if he was with a more enthusiastic group because it seems to me he's
It's a
paying a
bit
little bit more
messing
attention than the
around.
others.
Yeah.
He actually kept his position there and the rest of them sort of stumbled around a bit. George who knew the right way.
Yes, yeah, he'd obviously listened
And then
to
he was
that
put
bit.
off a bit because the others wanted to go
To
the other way.
yeah.
End of the lesson
Oh,
and end of the day.
oh, really sweet.
So, that was your picture of his progress.
Yeah,
think?
I think he really enjoys school. I get an impression he, seems quite keen and enthusiastic for most of it. And I think as though the reading obviously was a bit more of a chore. I didn't get the impression he was distressed by it. More that he was a bit, I've got to do it sort of thing. Although I don't really want to, you know. But he seemed to go along with it okay.
And the maths was very...
Yeah, the maths was good. I mean, he obviously enjoyed that. But overall, he just looks quite happy, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I think
it's quite
I can't
happy.
disagree with that.
Yeah.
For most of that day. What about you, Ian?
Yeah, I think the school suits him quite well. He gets on quite well there. It's not too stressed.
Yeah.
ขณะที่นักเรียนกลับบ้านถึงเวลาที่พ่อแม่จะมาไตร่ตรองสิ่งที่ได้เห็นมา
ผมคิดว่ามันน่าทึ่งมากๆเลยคุณว่าไหมสนุกไหมครับ
ใช่ค่ะ
ครับ
อ๋อดีครับ แล้วคุณได้เรียนรู้อะไรกันบ้างล่ะ
ก็เยอะทีเดียวครับ
อ๋อว่าไงค
ใช่
รับ
ค่ะ คือเขานั่งนิ่งๆได้เกิน1 นาที ซึ่งมันเยี่ยมมากเลยค่ะ
อ๋อครับ
ฉันรู้สึกดีนะคะที่เห็นอลิซทำตัวดี แล้วก็มั่นใจขึ้นเวลาเรียนนะคะ
คือเธอดูมีความสุขมากด้วยนะครับ
แล้วคุณอยากทำอะไรที่แตกต่างบ้างไหมล่ะครับ
ไม่นะครับ เราแค่ต้องสนับสนุนเธออย่างต่อเนื่อง ช่วยเหลือให้เธอผ่านไป
สิ่ง
ให้
ที่
ได้
ผมเรียนรู้ก็คือสำหรับเด็กที่มีพรสวรรค์มีความสามารถและได้รับการสนับสนุนที่ดีมันขึ้นอยู่กับว่าคุณทำอย่างไงกับความสามารถเหล่านั้นคำถามก็คือแล้วเราควรจะผลักดันลูกเรื่องใดและไม่ควรเรื่องใดเราควรจะสนับสนุนหรือไม่คุณพูดได้ดีมากเจนคุณจำได้ไหม
ใช่ค่ะ หลักๆก็คือให้ลูกเป็นคนเลือกเอง แล้วก็สนับสนุนในสิ่งที่ลูกทำให้มากที่สุดนะคะ
ถูกต้องเลยนะครับอ๋อนี่เป็นวันที่เหนื่อยมากแล้วผมจะไปว่ายน้ำที่สระเด็กสักหน่อยแล้วนะ
น่าสนุกทีเดียวค่ะ
ขอบคุณมากครับ ขอบคุณมากนะ
ขอบคุณ
สวัสดี
ค่ะ
ค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
คุณผู้ชมคะเมื่อเรื่องดำเนินมาจนถึงท้ายเรื่องเนี่ยนะคะก็อาจจะทำให้คุณผู้ชมได้เห็นนะคะว่ามีการเปลี่ยนแปลงความคิดของคุณพ่อคุณแม่ค่ะเพราะว่าผู้เชี่ยวชาญนะคะได้ทำให้คุณพ่อคุณแม่เห็นค่ะว่าสิ่งที่คุณพ่อคุณแม่คิดหรือว่าสิ่งที่คุณพ่อคุณแม่กังวลอยู่ในเรื่องของลูกนั้นอาจจะไม่ได้เป็นจริงเสมอไปค่ะเมื่อเด็กอยู่ที่โรงเรียนเด็กอาจจะไม่ชอบในวิชานั้นแล้วก็ไม่ชอบในวิชาอื่นไปซะทั้งหมดหมายความว่าผู้เชี่ยวชาญกำลังจะบอกว่าสิ่งที่คุณพ่อคุณแม่กังวลใจเนี่ยนะคะอาจจะเป็นเพียงส่วนเล็กๆของเด็กเท่านั้นเราต้องมีความเชื่อมั่นในตัวลูกและเราก็ต้องเชื่อค่ะว่าความสามารถของเด็กนั้นมีหลากหลายเด็กที่ไม่ชอบอ่านอาจจะชอบการเต้นหรือว่าเด็กที่ขี้เขินขี้อายอาจจะสามารถเป็นผู้นำที่ดีได้ถ้าหากว่ามีการเปลี่ยนแปลงการตอบรับของคุณครูหรือว่ามีปฏิกิริยาตอบรับของเพื่อนๆที่เปลี่ยนไปเห็นไหมคะว่าสิ่งที่คุณพ่อคุณแม่คิดเป็นสิ่งที่สำคัญมากค่ะให้กำลังใจลูกให้โอกาสลูกและที่สำคัญที่สุดนะคะให้ลูกได้ตัดสินใจเองแล้วก็ให้ลูกเป็นผู้เลือกในสิ่งที่เขาจะเป็นและเขาจะทำแล้ววันนี้ก็หมดเวลาแล้วนะคะกลับมาพบกันใหม่ในรายการโรงเรียนพ่อแม่ทางสถานีโทรทัศน์ครูค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ